Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, August 15, 2023, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call tomorrow night, Wednesday, the 16th, at around 9 p.m. Eastern. The apparent presence of the mind is the doorway to awakening. The apparent presence of the mind is the doorway to awakening. Make peace with the mind in every moment, and you will experience total bliss. Angela Walker. Another great way to be grounded in the God that you are within that body is to slow your life way down. That's a big challenge for many of us on this planet. And not temporarily, but permanently. Because of everything that we have been conditioned and programmed with, we're on an accelerated path. Is when you're going so fast that you don't notice your surroundings. It's like if you look at today, if you look at everybody that, well, maybe I should make it a comparison to years ago when things obviously are different because things always change. When we didn't have smartphones, and we really didn't have PCs. You know, we had kind of small, very, very not too powerful PCs, if we did have them. But we didn't have all that stuff. We had landlines. In other words, hardwired phones into the home. And maybe some people had pagers, way before they had the big box cell phone that came out later. What did we do? How did we communicate? Well, if someone called us and we didn't know who it was, we wouldn't answer the phone, right? But then they came out with caller ID. And so you could look at the phone and say, well, I don't know that number. And they didn't leave a message, so I'm not going to respond to them. And then when you left the house, this is a good one. You left the house, you didn't have a phone. You didn't have a pager. You just had yourself. Couldn't communicate with anybody. No one could call you. No one could communicate with you, period. You were like in your own silence. Now, more people interacted. Communicated one-on-one than ever compared to now. So there's good and bad. There's good and bad, and there's bad and good. So when we look at the world of technology, and we look and we stop and we take a breath. We sit down on the park bench, and we just kind of contemplate how easily it was for the AI to seduce the civilization into using things like the pads, the iPads, the smartphones, and all the other gadget geometry, gadgets. And what has it really done for us? Now, it has connected us on a much broader scope as far as interacting over the internet. And I mean, the internet in one way is marvelous because it's got so much information accumulated on it that you literally could type in anything and find an answer in most cases. And you could find out ailments and the right foods to eat, on and on and on. It's basically a tremendously large educational pool, an entertainment pool. It's a great database of knowledge. And you remember when we didn't have the internet. we sent letters to each other. And it was kind of fun because you'd wait to receive a letter from whoever it was. And you'd read the letter, and then you would go ahead and respond to them. People still send letters. People still communicate with letters and cards, which I think is great. I think it's much more intimate as far as communication with other humans than what we have now. Now, when you look at all of this, and you look at the fancy doodad cars and vehicles and all of this technology, I mean, we have personal computers that are more powerful than they used to have an entire floor or 2 floors or an acre of computers just to be able to get up to 1 gigabyte of processing power. Isn't that amazing? With half a foot floor space beneath for cooling and tubings and everything to keep all of those computers cool and not run hot. Now, you have a computer that far surpasses that, by far, which we have taken a lot of things for granted. Now, there comes a time when, where do you draw the line? Because it's easy to, isn't it easy to have things that make life easy, so to speak, in a way. But when you start to realize is how much of your time is spent on the internet, listening and viewing and reading. How much of your time do you think you spend with electronic gadgets? And are they beneficial? Well, we do know that we have an issue with blue light, which destroys the eyes. That's the bluntest way to put it. It destroys our eyes, the blue light. Now, they do have later monitors out that adjust the lighting on the monitor so your eyes are put to ease and you don't have that blue light interfering with your vision. But some of the older monitors don't have that. And a lot of people spend a lot of time in front of a computer in this country alone. So you can understand why it's an epidemic of eye problems that we have. Now, you get eyeglasses that have now the blue blocker lenses that now they claim block out like 99% of the ultraviolet light, the blue light, they call it. And, you almost want to have your own setup where you could test yourself if that's the case. These lenses actually are blocking, or do you just take it for granted because the eye people tell you, oh, these are the UV, they block out all the blue light. And you won't know that unless you just had an independent lab test it. And we don't know a lot of things because we've just basically taken things for granted and just accepted that the people that are in charge of doing certain things for us are honest, forthright, committed to servicing, giving us an honorable and really good service for the American people. And those, unfortunately, for the society, are far and few between. When was the last time that you experienced, as an American, a good customer service? And you'll see my point I'm making shortly. A good customer service where you felt really good. You felt tended to. You felt taken care of. You weren't being screwed over. There was no rough communication. And it all worked out. It's like not too long ago, I have a blender that I like, and somehow, even though I will not use plastic, the plastic container that you have in blenders. I mean, every one of them have it. Vitamix has the plastic. They're all plastic. Every now and then you'll come across one with glass. So the glass is tempered, and it's heavy. It's thick. So you rinse it. You don't use soap or water. You just rinse it under hot water. And it cools. You wipe it down. It cools at room temperature. But for some reason, this one, I tapped it on the sink, and it just cracked. It's probably temper inversion with the heat and the cold off and on over and over again. It weakened the glass. So I called the company, and he said, those usually to replace them are $50. So I said, okay, because I really like the blender. He says, but I'm going to tell you, this one time, I'm just going to give you a new one. Send it to you. Pay for the shipping. No problem on your end. I thought that was phenomenal. Used to be in this country that we had that kind of customer service because it was Americans serving Americans. Now, I'm not talking about prejudice here or anything. It's just language barriers. We all know that we've been on the phone with people that you can't understand them. You really try, you listen really as intently as you can, but it's really difficult to understand their dialect, what they're trying to communicate. And I don't know if it's on purpose or what. Maybe it is. But I know all of us at least once have had that issue where we're talking with someone in India and not here in the United States. Just because they shopped all of that off into foreign countries because it was less expensive than to pay American people. So it all kind of starts playing itself out and we as a people we give the benefit of the doubt a lot. We just kind of go, okay, well, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, no big deal. But more things take place. Automobile companies really running roughshod over people on pricing of their units. Companies that are gouging the American people that used to be reputable and would service the American people with great honor. And now it's gotten to the point where it's like a rip across that whatever they can do, they're trying to do to gain money. And now look what's happening. You look at all of the companies that are in bankruptcy, which is really amazing. You've got Walmart in bankruptcy. Believe it or not, that's true. You've got the grocery stores are on their ear right now. There's no telling how many of them will go under. The reason I'm sharing all this is in the quiet time of the meditation is what we are truly grateful for in this very moment. And, different experiences all of us have had as we've grown, these bodies have grown, and experienced things. And how would you like it to be for you today? How would you like things to be? How would you like your life to be? I say to myself, no matter what's going on with my body, I say, I am deeply grateful for this very moment that I am in. I'm deeply grateful for exactly the way my body is at this very moment. I do that a lot. I do it even when I will say to myself, okay, do you really mean that? And it does shift. The energies shift. But from what you've experienced in your life, from being a child and then into adulthood and all the different things that you experienced, created for yourself. In this very moment, this very now moment, what would you like to have, or how would you like things to be? Not that you're dissatisfied with anything, but just from your perspective on how the new experience and new exposure to different things, and not what we've all been exposed to recently over the last, over a half a decade of the exposure of truth for the American people, not globally, but right now for the American people, the truth. Now, isn't it interesting that we have such a diversity as a people? We all know that. We have people from all over the world that have established their loyalty, their citizenship to this country, America. And so we've got Chinese, we've got all Asian cultures, we've got Greek and Italian, European, Eastern European, we've got everything in our country. You've got Greek town, you've got Chinatown. I mean, it really has been a country that encouraged unity amongst people of all skin tones and all appearances. It's just a unity, a togetherness of being together. And then, we have the people that have not woken up, as we say. The term is not waking up, which means they're just ignorant. They follow a different direction. And since we have this aggressor gene that was put into the human genome, we all carry the aggressor gene, but most of us, we really don't use it a lot. Aggressor gene is connected to the ego mind. Now, which is an illusion. The ego mind's an illusion, but it plays off the ego mind. And I'm sure you all know what the aggressor gene is. It's when we don't understand something, we become very aggressive, putting it lightly. And that will be corrected. That was actually put there by the reptilians. So, isn't it interesting how we view our lives in this very moment? What we're thinking about, and are we in the now, or are we in a challenge with being in the now and staying in the now? And how many people know even how to do that, being in the now? But a lot of the times, I believe that some of us will contemplate, will slow down, and sit and say to themselves how phenomenal it is to be in these bodies, to experience all this, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because it really is something that's cherishable. Because we will not experience this again. It's taken 30,000 years to have all this at this moment in time transpire. I kid you not. On this particular planet, at this particular time, with everything that's been engaged, such as the photon energy field for the next couple thousand years, all of these things that have been designed and engineered to fit into place perfectly at the right time, the right place, which is what we're experiencing. And the dark entities that, and like I said, they're part of us. They're not, none of us are separate. There's just like some dark patches in the collective. They're being eliminated. This isn't it isn't about revenge, and I think a lot of people believe that maybe it is revenge of the forces of light against the forces of dark. And we're not talking, daylight, nighttime, that type of, light and dark. But it isn't a revenge. It is a decision. That might sound strange to some people. It's a decision to have this blight. It's a blight. It's an infestation of planet Earth, and it's influenced the civilization for thousands of years. And we've decided, whether you're aware of it or not, but through the collective, the pure consciousness that we all make up as the gods that we are, has decided that that's it. That's over. And the collective consciousness, there's no debating in the collective consciousness. It's pure consciousness. There's no arguing. When a collective decision is made, it is immediately, instantaneously engaged. Like, boom, just immediate. So on this planet, everything we're witnessing, which is basically a play theater, an act, Broadway show, however you want to look at it, and it's not a real good one. And when we can see the chicanery and the laughter that it should bring to us, and the, hilarious actions, such as indicting Trump for trying to overthrow the 2020 election. Now, you understand, dark side blames all the things they've done on the people that were the victims of the things that they did. And they try to make the public believe that the people that were the victims of their evil are the evil ones. And this is exactly what's happening. That I think a lot of people have learned the fact that this is something we don't care to do, because it's so hilarious. It really is. It'd be like a bunch of kids trying to make something up in hopes that it would stick. But they believe, see, the gullibleness of the American people is that, well, if we have enough states indict him for trying to do this and seditious acts and everything, maybe if enough of us do it, then the American people will accept it as the truth. And then when I say, how would you like things to be? And from your heart minds on exactly what it would mean to you to have, to experience a life that's free from all of this goop, all of this intensity of lying and dishonesty and manipulation, and the bad guy's blocking this and the bad guy's blocking that and the bad guy's doing this. How do you feel it would be without the bad guys? Where all of a sudden nothing was blocked and stopped, but yet it was also perfectly monitored. So if anybody who had a bad bone in their body decided to disrupt something, they would be smited in a way immediately. Because when you realize that we're on a planet that's exactly what this planet was, okay, till we had a parasitical infestation. And the parasitical infestation took over every structure on the planet and has been embedded in those structures for thousands of years. I'm not just talking about America, but way before America was even America. I'm talking about thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years where the parasiticals invaded the planet, embedded themselves in all walks of life and all royalty, all the royalty bloodlines and everything, which is another ego mind thing. And we look at life and we realize how fast it goes. And it has speeded up greatly. And we realize that 20 years zooms by like it's nothing. You notice that? And the wealth of knowledge that we've been picking up from all of this stuff is irreplaceable. Heck, after this is all said and done, and we've cleaned the garbage off the planet permanently, we'll be able to show other planets that are in trouble how to move out of that trouble. You see? We're teaching a lot of planetary systems how they can liberate their planets too. This is a massive transition for intelligent life. Not so intelligent when, you create things that are very conflicting and dangerous and harmful. But what do you believe it would be like when you're completely free, that there really aren't any bad guys, that everything's flowing, no interruptions, and the only thing that's happening, and it's still a challenge. I mean, we still will create things that are challenging for us so that we can continue to do what? Experience. But for the most part, we fix all of the damage that's been done to the planet as a people. And as a people that are well informed and understand the ramifications long term of an affected ecosystem and a damaged environment. And we start looking at life, all of us start looking at life as the highest supreme value in the universe. So we revere life, no matter what the object is or how we perceive life to be, because life is in many different forms. And how exciting it will be for us to heal the planet. We will help the planet heal herself. There are good parasites too, by the way. There's not all bad. There's good parasites and there's bad parasites. Unfortunately, we were invaded by a bunch of bad parasites. And there weren't enough good parasites that recognized the fact that we had been. So, slowing down in this life, period, is a really good idea. But it is a challenge. It is a challenge for everyone, I believe, everyone. And have you ever been around a situation where you're not in a hurry? Have you ever been in that position? Maybe you've rushed for years, but there's sometimes you're just not in a hurry. You don't feel like being in a hurry, so you take your time. And there's always someone there, in most cases, saying to you, come on, let's go. We're going to be late. You got to get going here. What the heck's wrong with you? How come you're moving so slow? Because I don't care to move fast, the person says to the other one. We're going to be late, embarrassed, and blah, 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 blah. I don't care. You ever done that? I don't care what people say or think or do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. I'm at my own pace, and I really enjoy it. And I'm not in a hurry to get somewhere. You ever notice that when you're in a hurry to get somewhere, and all causes and all the worry and the fear, and it really does, anxiety, and so you get there, and everything's fine. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And that's our perspective. So when things aren't happening at our pace, we get very frustrated, and we get irritable, and we become disappointed. Because, it's like, what's going on here? How come this isn't going as fast as I like it to go fast? Because, see, in this country, we've been through gradualization, we haven't been aware of many of the things that have been perpetrated upon us. We haven't been aware of it. We just didn't have a knowing because it was so slow. And you would think, right? You would believe that with the tortoise and the hare story, as an analogy, example, that everybody on this planet would have slowed down. You wouldn't be in a hurry. And you couldn't get them to be in a hurry. And that was just the pace. It's like when we had regular mail, remember, years and years in the mail, we'd probably get a package in a week, maybe 2 weeks. When it was third class, it would be like 6 weeks. I never could figure out what they did with the package for 6 weeks. But do you ever notice that was okay for us because that's the way things were. No one really questioned it. Sometimes you'd say, I wish they could get these packages quicker to us. And then it got real fast. I mean, you did you remember the days not too long ago of Amazon Prime where you would get your package in 2 days, guaranteed. And now you're lucky to get it in a week and a half, sometimes a month, depending on the vendor. So isn't it interesting that we've had things in our civilization, our society, which is the human psyche, that have been redone, rethought. Catalog mail order houses are older than the hills. So some companies come up and they start doing it online, and one particular happens to survive that mass confusion, which happens to be Amazon. And look what they've done. And it's just other people that manufacture things and other people that have them stocked up are plugged in there, and then you order it, and it comes from all different sources. Period. It's mail order. It's what it is. And the interaction, remember the interaction that you would have when you would go to where? You would go window shopping, or depending on your finances, you go window shopping, or you would go store shopping. You'd run here, run there, do this, do that. Bed Bath & Beyond used to be around for a long time. They're out of business. You see all these stores come and go because it's always been that way, but not at such a high pace as it is in this moment. That so many are disappearing. And so you will see new stores arise after all of this garbage has been swept and medicinalized away. There'll be so many new opportunities for people to start their own businesses. And I can guarantee you, if you walked into a store anywhere in this country that was grassroots, that was by local people that started the business and were interested in being a monolithic, super dynamic establishment, but catered to the local people and sourced things. The difference between that attention and the attention in these megalithic department stores and superstores is huge, isn't it? The difference is, do you remember when you would walk into the neighborhood grocery store? You'd walk in a neighborhood grocery store, and the owner would say, "Hey, how you doing, Mary?" I noticed they had this new company with these special kind of turkeys. You think you could order me some? Sure. What's the name? I'll contact the manufacturer. We'll get you some. I remember stores like that. And you felt good. If it was neighborhood, no, it wasn't, 40 acres of you name it there. It wasn't a Costco, let's put it that way. But it was fun, enjoyable. You go to the grocery store, you help local community, you help the people that own the stores, period. And everybody chimes. You're going to see that come back, I guarantee you. Be different a little bit. It won't be the same as it was then, but it'll be different. But it'll be that homespun, neighborhood type thing. You're also going to experience things like, and I'm putting these puzzle pieces in there so that when you go into quiet time in this meditation, you get kind of a clear view for yourself and anything you want to add to it. So what we're doing is we're painting a future of America and the planet by reviewing all these things, reminiscing, not fading into the past a lot, but picking up things, good memories, experiences, and then putting front and center. Do you believe that that's doable? Oh, yeah, it is. Very much so. Yeah, and we'll have different things, but they'll be very beneficial to the well-being of the population. Very beneficial. And when you focus on your breath and just listen to the breath, works every time, no matter how much noise there is in the head, how much chatter, no matter how much the ego mind's banging on you, no matter how many thoughts are whirling around about yesterday, tomorrow, and the future and the past, it goes away. Silence. And you just focus on that. And from your heart-mind, then you visualize, because heart-mind's dictating, basically it's telling the ego-mind what to do, and to visualize what that will feel like, how it feels. Feel it. Feel it for yourself in this quiet time. Embrace it. There won't be any fears there. If you're truly in the heart-mind and focused on the breath, there won't be any fears. It'll be total freedom, total peace. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and then easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Ask yourself this question: why are you hurrying? When you rush, you always miss on the beauty and the miracle of your life. That which you were seeking so desperately for is in the journey and not at the finish line. If you can stop pushing the river and embrace each moment that comes your way, the great river will always carry you. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We will be back here Wednesday, August 16, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our daily global guided meditation call. And around 9:15 p.m. Eastern, our time for change call. Be gentle, kind, and generous with yourself, and humble at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on around you or within you.